All right, number 8. So the answer to 6 is 16 centimeters. The answer to 8 is what? The factor method. Now we go. 7 is factor method. So for number 8, they gave us this. They said we should make M subject formula. Are you ready? I have R equals to M squared T minus T. They want me to make M subject formula. So I'll do everything possible to make sure I collect like terms and divide both sides. How am I going to collect like terms? I want to remove everything that's associated to M and isolate it on one side. That's the way you make subject formula. One other thing, keep your unknown positive. So I might decide to do this. I will do this. R plus this T will cross equal sign and become plus T equals to M squared T. Okay. And my intention is to make M subject formula. So what do? I can now decide to divide both sides by T. I will have this as R plus T over T equals to M squared. Are we there? I divided both sides. When I got here, I divided both sides by T so that this T can get away from beside the M. Now, whenever you have M squared equals to this, you square root both sides. Square root both sides. You're going to do that. This will give us square root of R plus T over T equals to M. In that order. So this is the option. Are you there? Now, you're wondering, you might look like, but there's T up, there's T down. Please don't try to cancel this T and this T. The only thing you can do in this case is this. You can either decide to say, this is square root of R over T plus T over T equals to M. Yes. Don't try to cancel this T like that. You'll be so wrong if you do that. What you can simply do is divide the denominator accordingly. Let me show you a quick one. I want to show you a quick one. I don't have space on this board. I think I should. Okay, let us use this part. Are you ready? You see, if I have 3 over 7 plus 2 over 7, do you know it is easy for me to add this fraction by saying LCM is 7. 7 divided by 7, 1 times 3 is 3 plus 7 divided by 7, 1 times 2 is 2. So look at it like this, like a reversal of this. I have 3 plus 2 over 7. I could decide to break it up as 3 over 7 plus 2 over 7. So in the same way, that's what you should do here. Don't try to cancel this T and cancel this T, you'll be wrong. This is the final answer here, at least for junior class. But if you look at the option and the option is not showing you this one, then you can just split this up, R over T plus T over T. Then therefore final answer, that nothing can be done to it again because R all over T. Because if T should divide T, you're going to get a 1. T over T is 1, A over A is 1, 10 over 10 is 1, 6 over 6 is 1. Are we good? So here, this equal to what? M. So that's the formula for the subject formula for M. Number 9. An object makes 800 revolutions in 4 minutes. Find the rate in revolution per minute. This is too simple again, just one of those simple ones I was talking about. They said 800 revolutions in 4 minutes. In 4 minutes, then therefore, let's just say 1 minute revolution per minute. 1 minute revolution will become 800 divided by 4, and that should give us 200 revolution per minute. This is just too simple here, straightforward. So it goes 200 for a minute. That's what they're asking for. Are you with me? Okay, now we'll go to number 10. A prefect is to be chosen from a class of 12 girls and 8 boys, full stop. What is the probability that the prefect is a girl? Now, for probability, the formula for probability, we know probability is a fraction. Probability becomes the number of required outcome all over the total number of possible outcomes. So this is just the probability as a fraction. Are you there? So now, if this is the probability as a fraction, it is defined as the required outcome, the number of required outcome over the total number of possible outcome. Now we now go back. How many do we have here? We have 12 girls, we have 8 boys, That automatically means that the total number of possible outcomes is what? 12 plus 8, which is 20. Now, then I said, what is the probability that the prefect is a girl? How many girls do we have here? 12. That's the meaning. That's the definition. Probability is the likelihood of an event happening or not happening. So it's more or less a fraction. It's not certain. It's always less than 1. When an event is sure to happen, it's 1. If it's not going to happen, it's 0. But in this situation, you have 12 girls, 8 boys, and they want to choose a prefect out of 20 people. So what's the probability of it being a girl? So it has to be 12 over 20, which is 12 over 20, and that simplifies a little less than 4 here, 3, 4 here, what? 5. So this is the answer to that probability, 3 over 5. All right, straight, number 11. They say change south 25 degrees west to a 3-digit bearing. Now, bearing and distance, you will meet as a topic in JSSCE2, but treated again in JSSCE3. Now, they use a compass bearing, south 25 degrees west. Let's do this, shall we? We have a north, south, west, and east, and they're telling us this is south 25 degrees west. That means this is it here, south 25 degrees west. They turn like this. On a compass bearing, it's an acute angle bearing. So your angles should be less than what? Less than 90 degrees. So this is exactly what they say we should define a 3-figure bearing. This south 25 degrees west, see it here, south 25 degrees west. You can only go southwest or southeast, northwest or northeast, but this is the definition of this question on the board. Are you ready? Now they say we should address this as a 3-figure bearing. If we have these 25 here as our compass or acute angle bearing, and they say express it in 3-digit bearing. Get it straight. In a 3-digit bearing, your bearing or angular movement starts from the first quadrant and goes what? Clockwise. Don't forget, it goes clockwise, not anti-clockwise, clockwise. So if I have to start from the first quadrant, and this is a point of navigation, because you see this line here, the bearing is talking about position of the location of 2 possible points. So if you're looking at this straight line, which is still the same as this straight line, in the compass bearing, it becomes 25 degrees south, 25 degrees west. But in a 3-figure bearing, which means you have to start from this first quadrant and move all the way to this point till you get to this point. And we know that this angle is already 25. And the first quadrant, this is a 90. In the second quadrant, this is a 90. So if you have to look at this clockwise movement from this first quadrant up to this point of navigation, this line of navigation here, means that you're going to have 180, which is 90 plus 90 plus what? 25. And the answer is what? 205 degrees. Therefore, south 25 degrees west is the same as 205 degrees in the 3-figure bearing. This is it in 3-figure bearing, this is it in compass bearing. They are the same. Only in the compass, in the 3-figure bearing, your movement will start on the first quadrant and move clockwise. But in the acute angle bearing or compass bearing, your bearing should just be a number less than 90. Are you there? That's how you get it done. Now, straight to number 12. Write 20.5 in standard form. We all know that standard form is a times 10 raised to the power of n, where a is an integer between 1 and 10, and n can be a positive or a negative number. A must be an integer between what? 1 and 10, or put it as 1 and 10. But it shouldn't be up to 10, it shouldn't even be up to 10. Let's make it between 1 and 9.9. Are you there? It cannot be a double digit. A will be a number between 1 and 9.9. Don't call it a 10. Are we there? Plus or minus 9, just put it as 9.9. N can be positive or negative. So for the first thing, take note that 20.5, are you ready? Is the same as 2.05 times 10 raised to the power of 1. we just change this 20.5 to standard form. 20.5 is not in standard form. The standard form states that the first A or the first number must be a number between 1 and 9.9. So now that you have this, you cannot times it again with this 10 raised to the power of minus 5. So now, these two numbers are the same. According to the law of indices, you have to take one of them and add the power. Are we there? So, in a nutshell, this final answer gives us 2.05 times, now look at this plus we change to minus, so 1 minus 5 will give me 10 raised to the power of minus 4. As the answer to that number was 12. Are we good? Change that number that's not in standard form to standard form. Any other powers of 10 that is there, observe the first law of indices. Multiply it out, add the powers, and you will get it. All right, now number 13. If x is 7, evaluate 6 plus x minus 2x. 6 plus 7 minus 2 times 7. That's the meaning. X is 7, so place there. Substitute 7 here, substitute 7 here. So what do we have? This will give us 6 plus 7 minus what? 14. 2 times 7 is 14. What's 6 plus 7? 13. Minus what? Minus 14. So 13 minus 14 should equal to what? Minus 1 as our answer. So the answer to number 13 is minus 1. Are we good? All right, now 14. The table shows a survey of the favorite subject of students in upper basic 2. Okay. Now, what fraction of the girls like maths? This is the column for maths, for science, and for English. Now, we have a total of how many girls? You say what fraction? It's still like, it operates like the probability too. What's the total number of students that you have? We're not asking for the total number of students. We're asking for the total number of girls. What fraction of the girls like maths? So what we do is this. For girls, total girls, just use simple words, 35 plus 25 plus 15. 25 plus 35 is 60. I agree with you. Do you agree with what I have it? Let's do it like this. 25, 35 is 60. 60 plus 15 is 75. So we have a total of 75 girls. And if you count it from here, you have 50. We also have 75 boys also. Okay. Now they say, what fraction of the girls like maths? These are the girls. 35 like English. 25 like maths. 15 like sciences. So fraction alike of girls that like maths. Put it as mathematics, but maths equal to what? 25 over 75, which is what? 1 over 3. So 1/3 of the girls like maths. Some of the whole girls, don't bother summing up the whole student. They didn't tell you what fraction of the student like maths. That's a different case. Please take note of this grammar here. If they said what fraction of the students like maths, that means you would have added the total number of boys, added the total number of girls, and look for, add up this to 30 plus 25 and put it all over the whole sum. But they're asking here, what fraction of the girls like maths? So you have to know the total number of girls that you have there and know the fraction, 25 over the total, the fraction that like maths of the girls. What fraction of the girls like maths? That's the question. So the answer is 1/3. 1/3 of the girls like maths. All right, number 15. Identify the net in the diagram. Okay, this is definitely a pyramid and is a square-based pyramid. The answer is C. If you can see the bottom here, this is the bottom of a called a square. This symbol shows you it's a square at the bottom. So now when you close these triangles, you close these 4 equal triangles because they have to be equal because the bases are equal. So it becomes a square. It can be a cone. A cone doesn't have this. The net of a cone is a sector and a circle. Are you there? That's the net of a cone. So it cannot be a cone. It cannot be a square-based prism. A prism is generally a solid shape. So a square-based prism. What do you mean by a square-based prism? Is it a pyramid? No. So the word prism is the name for most all solid shapes that has uniform cross section. A cuboid is a prism. Cylinder is a prism. A cube is a prism. Most shapes that have uniform cross section is what you refer to as what? A prism, a solid shape that's man-made. That's what you call a prism. So it cannot be a square-based prism, but it has to be a square-based pyramid, because you can see this one. When you close it up, it gives you the net. It gives you the pyramid, but this is the net. The net means what makes up this shape. So that's the answer, square-based pyramid. They say convert 4 base 10 to base 2. What you do is to divide by 2 and write your remainders as you go. Convert 4 base 10. I want you to convert 4 in base 10 to base 2. What do? You divide it by 2. They say convert it to base 3, you divide it by 3. Till you get to 0. Then take the remainders from the bottom up. So 2 divided by 4 is 2 remainder 0. 2 divided by 2 is 1 remainder 0. 2 divided by 1 is 0 remainder 1. Take this up. Therefore, 4 base 10 is still the same as 100 base 2. Answer. Are we good? Now, in the 17, they said on the Cartesian plane, point -7 and 2 lies between which quadrant? What do you mean by quadrant? This is what we mean by quadrant. 0, point of origin. When you bring the Cartesian plane, you're actually identifying the horizontal number line and the vertical number line intersecting at 0. So, if I have a Cartesian point, where I know that this is, if I have -7 and 2, I know that this is a coordinate. It's an order pair. So since it's a coordinate, this is x and this is y. The first one is always x. So if x is -7, where can x be -7? It has to be on this side, because from here I will have +1, +2, +3, +4, and so on. And from here I will have -1, -2, -3, and so on. So that means -7 will be somewhere around, let's just give this -7, ... -7, okay. X is -7, so that means it's on this side. We don't know whether it's on this one or on this one, but this is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. Don't forget, it goes anti-clockwise. For quadrant goes anti-clockwise. For bearing and distance, 3-figure bearing goes clockwise. Are you there? So please, I just want you to don't mix them up at all. Now, we return back to this. The x coordinate is -7 precisely, and y coordinate is +2. And now, on the Cartesian plane, from up here you have +1, +2, and y at the bottom you have -1, -2. Are you there? So if x is -7 and y is +2, then that means you can trace it up to this point. This is the point they are actually talking about here, where x is -7 and y is what? +2. And y is +2 here. So which quadrant does this point lies in? It lies in the second quadrant. This is the first quadrant. It's going anti-clockwise. Second quadrant, third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant. So this point -7, x is -7, and y is +2 lies on the second quadrant, which is B.